Hey everybody, welcome to Core Balance Remember. This week we are tying in all of the things that we've learned the last couple of weeks and putting them all into one class. It's a Pilates-based class this week, so find a spot on the floor and get ready. To begin, we're just going to relax our shoulders, find a comfortable stance, and drop it down into a few chair poses here. It's really important to lift that chest, send that weight into your backside, driving down through your heels. So we're going to do this a couple times just to find our center of gravity, our balance here. So go ahead and breathe all the way in and up, and drop it down into that chair pose. Weight into the heels, and release all the way up. Breathing in and up, settling back down into that chair pose. Kind of play with your stance, maybe widen your stance or bring your feet closer together. Just really strong on the base here. And shake it out, loosening up. Lace those fingers, bring them out in front of you, stretching all the way in and up on an inhale. And on that exhale, we're going to bring the hands back behind us, lacing the fingers and opening across the front of the chest. A few more times here, finding that breath, breathing in as we lace the fingers out in front and raise them overhead. And when you're ready for that exhale, dropping the hands back behind, lacing the fingers and opening across the front of the chest. At your own pace here, just following your breath. Good, continuing to breathe. Keeping those shoulders down, away from the ears. Bring your right arm across the chest here. Nice and tall. Switching arms, left across the body. And release. Go ahead and take a nice deep breath in, and we're going to shrug those shoulders, bring them all the way up close to the ears, and on the exhale, just letting it go, dropping those shoulders. Inhale, shrug, tensing up, and exhale, release and relax. Rolling out the neck a couple of times, just getting ready to jump into today's class. It's also important to remember if you need a modification and I haven't provided it, just do whatever feels comfortable to you, okay? Finding that breath, just a few more moments here. Breathing in nice and tall, and hands at heart center. Here we go. Coming down onto all fours. Remember, it's important to warm up the wrists, splaying those fingers nice and wide to protect all those joints. And we're going to come up into a half push-up position here. For these chaturanga push-ups, I want you to try to keep those elbows in nice and close to your rib cage. Giving yourself as much control as possible, lowering down, and just at your own pace, we're going to try to knock out 10 chaturanga push-ups. Continuing to breathe, keeping those elbows locked into your sides. Tons of control here, lock in that core. Almost there, just a couple more. And go ahead and come up to a standing. Great job. From here, do a couple toe touches if you're in an apartment and you've got neighbors, or if you want to do a full-blown jumping jack. I'll leave that up to you. Just for 20 seconds here, doing some toe touches or jumping jacks. Bringing that heart rate up, continuing to breathe, loosening up those joints. Few more here, and shake it out. Coming back down onto the mat, onto all fours in that half push-up position. Once again, turning those fingers out, splaying the hands, and locking those elbows in close to the body. This time we're going to hover as we lower down to the floor. So with control, and then right before you reach the ground, hold it. Lowering down slowly and hold and lift. Just at your own pace here. The goal is to lock in that core. Keeping that control, Few more here. You've got it. Almost there. Keeping those elbows locked into the body and to a standing. Right back into those toe touches or jumping jacks. Shaking it out. Keeping that heart rate up. Remember, there's always a toe touch option. And shake it out. Alright, stretch it out. I know the shoulders are probably pretty tight. Maybe roll out the neck. Whatever you need to do for this last set. You're almost there. Bring it back down to the mat. And when you're ready, spreading those fingers, locking those elbows in, and at your own pace. This time, really slowing it down. As slow as possible, as much control as possible. You've got it. Lock in that core. If you need to take a rest, go ahead and take a quick rest, but then jump right back into it. As slow as possible, as much control as you've got. Great job. Go ahead and come up to a standing. Last set here, a couple toe touches or jumping jacks, whichever you prefer. Keeping it up a couple more seconds. Continuing to breathe and shake it out. Before we transition into our next superset, we're just going to stretch it out, opening up across the front of the chest, maybe opening up through the shoulders. Whatever you need to do, you know your body the best. If you need to roll out your wrists or your ankles, maybe spreading those fingers a couple of times, clenching into a fist, whatever you've got to do. And for this next set, we're going to do some chair squats and plank holds, okay? So just like we did in the beginning for that warm-up, sending that weight into our heels as we settle into a chair pose, okay? Feet about hip-width apart, settling in, finding that balance, and when you're ready, just getting started at your own pace. Settling into that chair pose, setting the weight back, and coming up to a standing. Chair and stand. Chair and stand. Finding that rhythm. Finding your breath. Don't be afraid to widen that stance either. If you need a wider base or a narrower base, you've got control. This is all up to you. And really remember to keep that chest lifted, okay? Down back to the mat, into those planks. And you can either do a full plank, or if you want to drop the knees here for a modification, you're more than welcome to do that. If you want a little extra bonus, extra core work, you can rock back and forth on those toes. Just remember to keep that backside down. We want to have a straight line from the tip of our head down to our heels. Back up to that standing. And when you're ready, right back into those chair squats. This time, we're going to add a different rhythm to it of down, down, up, up, okay? Down, down, up, up, down, down, up, up. Just at your own pace, staggering that movement. Down, down, up, up, down, down, up, up. You've got it. Keep it going, keep that chest lifted. Don't forget to breathe. Just a couple more here, and shake it out. Bringing it back down to the mat. Holding that plank nice and strong, lock in that core, okay? Dropping that backside. And just as before, if you want an added bonus, go ahead and rock back and forth on those toes a few times, really firing up that core. Great job coming back up to a standing. I know, it's killer. Shake it out. Find that breath if you need to. If you have to pause to maybe grab a drink or catch your breath, do whatever you need to do. That's the power of doing yoga from home. And as soon as you're ready, right back into those chair squats. This time we're going down slowly and holding and coming up slowly. So slowly down and slowly up. Really prolonging that motion. The slower you go, the harder your muscles work because you're adding more tension into the movement. And up. Slowly down and hold, and slowly back up. Great job, you guys. Keep it going. Keep that chest lifted. Remember to send that weight through your heels, back into your backside. And shake it out. One more time, down onto the mat. This time, if you'd like, we can bring it down into a forearm plank for another added bonus. If you're on a half plank, continue to hold and breathe. If you want to be in a full plank and rock back and forth, whatever you want to do, it's up to you. And release. Great job, you guys. Stretch it out here. We're almost done with the superset. Just a little bit more. Find that breath, and when you're ready, right back into those chair poses. This time, holding, holding, holding. And up. One more time, breathing all the way in and settling back. Maybe settling a little farther this time. Keeping that chest lifted, forcing those muscles to work for you, and lift. Great work. One more set of planks here. Last time, make it count. Dropping that tailbone down, bringing that belly button in toward your spine. Just a few more seconds, you've got it. And release. Back into a child's pose. For our next round of supersets, we're going to do swimmer kicks and crunches. So go ahead and splay out on your stomach, pointing those toes. And once you're settled in, find that breath. We're going to extend our arms out in front of us. Lifting up onto our pelvis and our core. Go ahead and kick those legs, flutter those arms. If you'd rather, you can bring the arms into the chest to give yourself some support and just do the kicks if you need a modification as well. A few more seconds here. Keep swimming. Just keep swimming, swimming, swimming. You've got it. Good. And roll over onto your back, bringing the feet in toward the backside. Hands come back by the ears. Just a couple half crunches here. At your own pace, however many you want to put into it today, that's up to you. Keeping with your own breath. If you need a rest, give yourself a rest. And when you're ready, back onto the stomach for those swim kicks. Kicking the feet, fluttering the arms. Remember, if the arms are too much and you want to bring them in toward your chest for some more support, go ahead and do that. Keep swimming, a few more seconds here. Great work, keep it up, keep breathing. And release. Awesome work, you guys. It's not easy. Flip over onto your back. This time, if you'd like, you can lift the feet into the air, crossing at the ankles for those crunches, jumping right back into it, however many you want to do. I'm only doing 15. Also remember, if you want to drop the feet, you're more than welcome. Good. And right back over onto the stomach. Just a few more sets, you guys. You've got it. If you need to take a breath in between these sets, go ahead and do so. And when you're ready, start swimming. Kicking those feet, fluttering those arms, staying strong through that core, really feeling it through the glutes. And try not to shrug those shoulders into your ears too much. You really want to stay long and lean, okay? Almost there. And release. Rolling over onto your back. This is the last set of crunches. And when you're ready, at your own pace. Sending that gaze up toward the ceiling to relax that neck. You don't want to crane your neck or strain it at all. So looking straight up really helps with that. Great work. All right, last set of swim kicks. And this time, rather than actually doing the kicks, we're just going to hold it kind of in like this Superman pose, okay? So go ahead and prep yourself, find that breath. And when you're ready, lifting up nice and tall, finding that balance. Really lift those legs as high as you can, arms out in front of you, staying strong. Tightening those glutes, tightening that core, finding that breath. You've got it. Keep it going. You're so strong. We're almost there. And release. Awesome job, you guys. Find that breath. Just using this moment as a rest. We're about halfway through now. So go ahead and bring it back up to a standing when you're ready. Catching that breath, shaking it out if you need, and also remember to grab a drink of water. It's important to stay hydrated when you're working this hard. For our next superset, we're going to be doing lateral pull downs, which looks like a downward dog to a plank, okay? So go ahead and breathe all the way in and up and swan dive forward. Bringing the hands down to the mat. Maybe twisting it out a couple times, just preparing ourselves. And when you're ready, go ahead and step it back into a plank. Once you're into that plank, send it back a little farther into that downward dog, bringing the tailbone up toward the sky, pressing the hands away from the mat, and pedaling out the heels, just warming up those hamstrings. And when you're ready, finding that breath, tightening that core, from that downward dog, send it out into a plank. From that plank back into a downward dog, and just at your own pace, going from dog to plank. Downward dog to a plank. Now this can go as fast or slow as you want. It's all up to you. Plank. Downward dog. Plank. Awesome job, you guys. Stay strong. You're almost there. Just a few more reps. And go ahead and walk the hands and the feet toward the middle of the mat, coming up to a standing. From here, we're going to do some alternating lunges, okay? So it's going to take a minute to kind of get in the groove, but just alternating right and left. Remembering not to hyperextend that front knee, being mindful of our front and back knees, as well as keeping that chest lifted and continuing to breathe, okay? It's also important to keep in mind this is all at your own pace. So if you need to slow it down for yourself, go ahead and slow it down. If you'd rather add in some rapid lunges, go for it. This class is completely up to you. A few more times here, alternating right and left lunges. And shake it out. Back to the top of the mat here. Planting the feet into the mat, prepping and breathing all the way in and up, swan diving forward, and then stepping back into that plank and lifting into that downward dog. Pedal out the heels if you need a couple more times, and then when you're ready, back into those lateral pull downs. Plank to down dog. Plank to down dog. As fast or slow as you need. Just remember to stay strong through that core, strong through those shoulders and hands. And don't forget to breathe. Just a few more reps left, you guys. You got it. Keep it up. And walk it toward the middle of the mat. Slowly rolling up, careful not to get a head rush. And right back into those alternating lunges. Mindful of the knees, keeping the chest lifted. Find that groove. Right, left, right, left. Just a few more, we're almost there. And shake it out. This is the last of the lateral pull downs. This time though, we're doing three-legged dog to knee to nose. So send it back into that downward dog. And when you're ready, lifting one of the legs up into the air and bringing it into the nose. Just keeping that repetition on the same side for now. Three-legged dog, knee to nose. And when you're ready, go ahead and switch legs. Three-legged dog, knee to nose. Three-legged dog, knee to nose. Stay strong through that core. If this is too much, just stick with those lateral pull downs that we were doing before. And lower it down into a child's pose. You've earned it. Just relax. Send those hands back toward your backside, letting all that tension out of the shoulders. Forehead rests down to the mat. Find that breath. Try not to hold on to any tension. Just really relax. And right into our next superset. Go ahead and come back up to a standing. And from here, we're going to do some oblique pull downs. So wide stance, arms out, and taking it over to one side. From here, we're just going to pulse up, down, kind of like you're a rag doll and somebody's pulling and lowering you by that upper arm. Keeping strong through that core, Try not to lean forward or lean back too far to one side. Switching over to the other side. Down, up, down, up, down, up. Really feeling that through our obliques. Keeping a strong base. And release. For the in-betweener, we've got mock jump ropes. Remember, if you live in an apartment or you've got neighbors that you don't want to disturb, you can just do maybe some high steps. Staying strong, just keeping that heart rate up. And this is whatever pace you'd like it to be. And go ahead and release. Back into that wide stance for those oblique pull downs. Arms out to the side. And this time we're going to add in a little bit of a different sequence. It's down, down, up, up, staggering that motion. Down, down, up, up, down, down, up, up. Remember, opening across the front of the chest. We're not leaning forward, we're leaning to the side. Down, down, up, up, and back to that neutral, arms to the side. Sending it over to the other. Down, down, up, up, down, down, up, up. Keeping that breath and really drawing out that motion as much as possible. Keeping that good form. Awesome work. And release. Back into those high knee touches or mock jump ropes, whichever you'd prefer. Keeping that energy, we're almost there. We're over halfway through. Maybe a couple high jumps if you've got it. Awesome job. Wide stance. Arms out to the side. And this time we're going down, down, and pulling up slowly. Down, down, up. Down, down, up. Really drawing out that lifting motion, forcing those muscles to work a little harder for us. Down, down, up. Down, down, up. Keeping that breath. Down, down, up. And switching sides back to that neutral. Down, down, up. Down, down, up. Keeping that good form, opening across the front of the chest, just sending it out to the side. We're not leaning forward or backward. Down, down, up, and release. We're almost there. Another set of jump ropes or high knee touches. Keep that energy up. You're almost there. And release. Last set. Wide stance here. Find that breath, and when you're ready, arms out to the side, sending it over. From here, we're just going to hold it in this oblique pull down, opening across the front of the chest, staying strong, continuing to breathe. And back to that neutral. When you're ready, over to the other side and hold. Opening across the front of the chest. Keeping in that level plane. We're not leaning too far forward or too far back. And back to that neutral. We've made it to our final set of jump ropes, so keep that energy up, shake it out. If you're not doing the jump ropes and you're doing those high knee touches, make sure it's a full movement. Lifting those knees nice and high. And release. Great job, you guys. Grab a drink of water, shake it out, find that breath, and get ready for the next superset. So this is our second to last sequence. We're going to bring it down to the mat onto a plank and jump right into some mountain climbers. Just alternating right and left, bringing those knees in toward the elbows. few more seconds here. You've got it. Stay strong through that core, pushing away from the mat, and up to a standing. For our in-betweener, we've got some sumo squats, so take a nice wide stance, and just like before, sending that weight back into the backside, lifting that chest, shoulders away from the ears. Really try to settle in as far as you can. A few more here, you've got it. Keep it up. And release. For our next mountain climber sequence, if you want to do standing mountain climbers, here's that modification for you. We're just alternating right and left and pulling down with our arms for each movement. You're more than welcome to take these down to the floor if you'd like, but this is the modification if you need it. Awesome. Back into the sumo squats, you guys. Nice wide base, and when you're ready, dropping down, maybe taking it a little bit lower this time even. Don't forget to lift that chest, drop those shoulders, and continue to breathe. You've got it. Just a few more here. Awesome. Mountain climbers, either on the floor or in that modified, whichever you prefer. Staying strong. We're almost there. Tightening that core, tightening those glutes. Strong through those arms and shoulders. Kick, 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 and back to that neutral. Wide base for those sumo squats. Breathing in and dropping it down. You've got it. Finding that flow, finding that rhythm. Keep it up, just a couple more. And release back into those mountain climbers. Right, left, right, left, right, left. If you're doing those standing mountain climbers, remember it's almost like a crunch when the elbows and the knees meet. Really tightening in that core. All right, last set of sumo squats here. Drop it low and hold. Really send that weight into the backside, lifting through that chest as we hold this pose, pressing those hands really close together to keep that balance. You've got it, just a couple more seconds. Continuing to breathe. And release. Shaking it out. Last set of the mountain climbers. Really try to push through it, you guys. You're almost there. Right, left, kick, 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 kick. Keep that core really tight, strong through those shoulders. A few more seconds, we're almost there. Keep it up, keep that energy. And release. Stretch it out. Last superset here, you guys, we've got some boat crunches. So go ahead and bring it over onto your backside. Finding that balance just like we did last week. And when you're ready, we're going to lift those feet, bring the hands out beside the legs here, and we're going to extend out into a low boat and bring it into a high boat crunch. I know it can be kind of tricky, so if for this first set you just want to kind of practice finding that balance, that's totally okay. Just low boat to high boat. low boat to high boat at your own pace. And for the in-betweener, we're going to recline back, bringing those heels in really close to the backside, and we're going to do some bridge lifts to stretch our abs in the opposite direction. So keeping a soft bend in the back of the neck, we're just lifting and lowering that pelvis, feeling that stretch across the front of the body as well as back through the glutes. Lifting and lowering, lifting and lowering, continuing to breathe. And right back up into those boat crunches. Lift those legs, and when you're ready, low boat, high boat, low boat, high boat. Really crunching in through those abs, staying strong. I know it's so tough, you guys, but you've got it. This is the last set. Oh, it's killer. I know it. Recline back. Let that spine melt into the mat. Soft bend in the back of the neck. And when you're ready, lifting that pelvis. Lifting and lowering, lifting and lowering. Feel that stretch across the front of the body. Feel that contraction in the backside. Those glutes are really doing some work. A couple more reps here. All right. Back into those boat crunches. Find that breath. Prepare yourself. And when you're ready, lifting into that boat. And hold. Strong through that core. Holding the pose. And slowly lowering down. Transitioning into one more set of those bridge lifts. Rather than doing reps this time, we're going to lift all the way up, nice and tall, feeling that stretch and holding the pose. Continuing to breathe and lower. Just relaxing here for a minute. However you want to get there, we're going to rock up to a standing, bringing it to the top of our mat, finding that breath, maybe grabbing a drink of water if you need it. Breathing in and up, swan diving forward, and hanging out here in that forward fold, just stretching it out. Rocking side to side if you need it. You guys did great work today. We're just going to bring that heart rate down, stretch it out, and call it a day. Hands down to the mat, sending it back into a plank. Holding this plank here for a moment before we slowly lower it down all the way to loop into an upward dog. Gentle stretch through that lower back. Shoulders dropped away from the ears. Neck is nice and long. And push it back into that downward dog. Spread those fingers. Tailbone pulls up toward the sky, pumping out those heels. Three-legged dog, knee to nose. Switching sides, three-legged dog, knee to nose. Drop those knees. And bring it back to a seated position. Nice and comfortable, just settling in on those sit bones, those little stilts in your pelvis. Dropping the shoulders away from the ears. Breathing in and up. And on the exhale, we're going to twist open to the right side. Gentle seated twist here. And release. Find that breath, breathing in and up. And on the exhale, twisting over to the other side. Nice and tall. And release. Take a moment for yourself, and when you're ready, we're going to recline back, letting that spine melt into the floor. When you're ready, right leg comes across the left knee, pulling that left knee in toward your body in a reclined pigeon. Feeling that stretch through the glutes, through the hips, and release. Switching legs, left over right, pulling that right leg in toward the body. Settle into the stretch. Release. Hands out to the sides in a T position. And drop those knees, both knees, over to the right side in a supine twist. Maybe turn your head in the opposite direction that your knees have fallen. Just in a full twist of that spine, from top to bottom. Head back to neutral, then knees back to neutral. Knees twist to the left, head turns to the right. Head and knees back to neutral. And send those feet out away from the body. Bringing the heels to either corner of your mat. Hands rested on your belly, just finding that breath. Remember counting those inhales, breathing in, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4. Relax that jaw, relax the eyelids, uncurl the toes, unclench the fists, whatever tension you're holding on to, just let it melt. Go ahead and bring the hands out to either side of the body, palms up toward the sky. Thank you so much for joining me this week, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next week. Namaste.